Hi y'all, I'm back with another video about coping in a pandemic. This material that I'm going to talk about today comes straight out of the research of Brene Brown, and if you like it and you want more, I suggest you get the books Daring Greatly and Rising Strong. And I think it's spoken most directly about in the Rising Strong book. So if you think about all the goal setting you might have done, all the imagining, the planning you might have done for 2020, and you had lots of hopes for what you might be doing and what the year might look like, and all kinds of things that you might have been anticipation. We're going to categorize all that under the term expectation. It's not expectation like I expect you to do this. It's expectation in the form of anticipation, like how we have this expectation about how the year was going to unfold. Well, it kind of all went to crap, right? So that leaves us wrestling with disappointment and resentment. So I want to encourage you to cultivate some habits that can help undo that. One, when we have expectations, sometimes we're just upset because they weren't realized. Sometimes they weren't realized because circumstances didn't allow it. Sometimes they aren't realized because we didn't communicate it with others that were an important part of making the expectation come true. Or sometimes the expectations are unrealistic and we just didn't kind of reality check ourselves around our expectations. And sometimes we don't even admit the expectations to ourselves. So if you know me well, ask me sometime about a funny story about expectation that I had once and hadn't admitted to myself. We don't have time for that story in this video, but it's a funny one. So all of these things that we might have anticipated happening in this new year when we walked into it in January before the pandemic hit us in late February and early March have probably mostly been undone and undermined and crashed to the ground. That's hard. It hurts. So what I want to encourage you to do is start cultivating a sense of creativity. And I have put many posts out on Facebook early on in the pandemic on my enrichment Facebook page, inspired by a poem, I think it was, that Anna Hoffman, the president of Women of Waco, read during one of our meetings, which I think was the February or March meeting. It was the March meeting, and she talked about things that weren't canceled. And I kept growing that list and growing that list. And it was a very helpful attitude adjustment for me. And I hope that it offered that same gift or benefit to other people. So think about if you were going to go on a camping trip with your kiddos, and because of social distancing, you could no longer do that trip with other people, and campgrounds are shut down, not taking reservations. What's an alternative way you could do that camp out? Could you do it in your backyard? Could you do it in your living room? Can you have fun ways to do that? If you can't go to the movie theater, can you project a movie on the side of the house or have a movie night at home and duplicate some of the features that would come with the movie theater, like popcorn and candy and soda? And big screens? Can you borrow a projector if you don't have a projector to make the screen bigger? Can you duplicate a restaurant experience? And like if you have children, as a parent, be the wait staff and talk with a funny accent and serve the food and play it up and be playful with that. As a couple, as adults, do creative dates. Find a way to spend time together that's new and different, because you can't go to a restaurant the same way you used to. Could you do carry out and go to a park and enjoy a sunset? What are the things that you can do differently that would help you fulfill some of the joys that the pandemic could rob us of if we don't have an open mind and a willingness to try doing things with a twist? The other thing is thinking about bigger plans that you can't easily duplicate, like an extravagant or really nice trip that maybe involved flying, that now is probably doesn't feel safe to most people, and for a while wasn't even possible. Can you duplicate the experience of where you were going to go? If you remember, what was the name of the movie with the twins that dang it, I can't think of the name of the movie, but these two twin girls were separated at birth, and they met at a camp and then discovered they were twins, and they switched places. And then when they admitted they switched places, they were brought back together at the dad's house, and they recreated the I think it was the proposal dinner or a honeymoon dinner of their parents for them, and did it at home instead of at a restaurant. So can you duplicate some part of the experience? Another example, my husband and I love to go to Dave Matthews concerts. So we're streaming live concerts to enjoy just the sound of the live music that's different from studio recorded versions where you hear the audience and the crowd in the background. And we're toying around with the idea of projecting the concert onto the side of the house, or casting from our phone onto the television from YouTube. We've not done that yet, but inviting some of our Dave Matthews loving friends who are also practicing good social distancing to our house and doing a home live concert of a recorded concert. So just think, what are the creative ways that you can recapture dreams and hopes and aspirations that you had for this year, and just use a creative twist and still engage in some version of those things that you love. The pandemic does not have permission to rob us of everything unless we give it permission. And so don't give it permission. Take back what you can and turn it into the version that's doable in the midst of this time. I wish you well and hope you have an open heart.